everyone. Welcome back to the ECR podcast. I'm the SERA ECR Network co-convenor Hermione. Today I'm with Denise. Denise, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Denise McGee-Dewar. I'm a teaching fellow in physical education at Moray House, part of Edinburgh University, and I've worked in teaching education for the past 8 years.
And I would like to say, I know you from the award you win, which is the ECR Network Award. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, in 2022, I had quite a big year. I finished my master's. It was a master's by research, and I was investigating the induction and the initial teacher education, induction and post-induction experiences of new physical education teachers through a phenomenological perspective. My supervisors, when I had submitted my master's thesis, encouraged me to apply for the Estelle Brisard Award. Which I did, and I remember saying to them, I definitely haven't done well. So it was a really nice, lovely surprise to have won the award. And I think it's been a really helpful thing for me because sometimes, life gets in the way, and I still want to go on and do a PhD, but I've had a few rejections, and I think it could be easy to maybe not pursue that because of everything else that's happening in life, being a single mum and a carer as well. But I think because of the award and also the opportunities that came after the award, so I was invited to speak at a few different events and things, it has given me the confidence to kind of realise that, I think I do have something to say, and this is something that I can pursue, and I will pursue. It just might, it might take me a little bit longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, and that's what we did last year at the SERA 2030 in Queen Margaret University, the 2023, yeah, 2023. I'm very bad with numbers. 2023. That we were talking about diverse voices from with diverse lived experience of ECRs. That's the time you were talking about with all of these things, and it's important to kind of to embrace different roles in your life. It's not just about research, about life and about taking care of the family and
and that's it really makes me think even about my undergrad students and things like that, and just how important that at all levels of learning, how important that flexibility is. As you say, sometimes if you're not attending something, it's not because you don't want to be there. It's making sure that there are these opportunities to still be involved, but in a maybe a little bit more flexible way. And I know that what you've done with the ECR network's been really useful in terms of the evening meetups and the book club and things like that, which sometimes I make it to and sometimes I don't, but there's also the transcripts are there, and obviously all the readings are there and things, so I still feel like even if I can't make it physically online to be there, there's still lots of ways to engage with that community as well, which has been really good.
And I think that's one of the reasons I want to kind of move with the reading club, and also having conversations with authors and of this. We did quite a few podcasts with the people we have read their work, and in a way it kind of enables people that whenever you want to take a look at it, you know where to find this. And since this is 50 years of SERA, for 50 years, so I'm going to ask you, how did you meet SERA? Was the encounter with the prize the first encounter, or before?
No, actually, prior to that, the faculty I'm within, the physical education program staff within Moray House, have a lot of really strong connections with SERA. So Nicola Karsh was my supervisor, and she was obviously a previous president of SERA, and then Paul McMillan, who's also I work really closely with as well, is now the current president of SERA. So there, it's something that's seen as really, really valuable within the staff that I work in. So even when I was a teaching fellow, before I had started to undertake my masters and things, some of the other faculty really supported me to get involved in practitioner inquiry, which was really good. Paul McMillan and Mike Jess were kind of like unofficial mentors for me, one of the other teaching fellows, and we did a little collaborative self-study on critical thinking. So then they encouraged us to then go and present at SERA. So we did a couple of presentations together at SERA, and then I did one poster presentation on the practitioner inquiry project myself as well. So I'd already actually presented quite a few times, and I think that's a really nice thing about SERA, is that it is very inclusive. You know, at first maybe I felt like, oh, well, you know, maybe I don't belong here. These are all, you know, published authors or PhD students, and I wasn't in the ballpark at that time. But no, people were really interested in what we were doing and what we had to say in practitioner inquiry style projects, and we felt very welcome. Lots of nice questions, lots of nice comments and things like that. So when then it was suggested that I did apply for the award, I already knew quite a lot about SERA, so I felt quite comfortable in terms of, you know, knowing about the organisation, and as I say, that it's a welcoming space, it's a supportive space for all researchers.
That's great. So how long has it been, like the first time you heard of SERA and till today?
Oh,
how many years, if you can recall?
I think the first time that I presented at SERA was 2018, I think, perhaps, was the first time.
2018.
Yeah.
So nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, not 4 years, nearly 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years is going to be. So have you seen any kind of changes that happened to SERA? Like, how is SERA today different from SERA at the moment when you first were there?
I think that there's still a lot of similarities, as I say, even in those very early days. You know, I felt that it was a really nice, welcoming space, and that's still definitely the case. But at the last few conferences, it definitely seems to have grown. There's maybe a lot more. There were a lot more presentations at the last one, so there was a huge range of sort of topics and things. It was quite hard to choose what we were going to go and see. And yeah, it's been really nice to see how the ECR network has grown, and those extra events. So there's been a lot more of the special interest groups. The networks are putting on lots of really interesting events, so there's a lot more going on sort of throughout the year now. You hear a lot from it, a lot more sort of social media presence and things like that as well. So I think there are a lot of the good stuff is still there, but it has just it's definitely grown.
Expanded. Grown.
Yeah.
So now, because it's 50 years of SERA, I would like to ask, what's your top 3 words for SERA 50? Like, what would you say to SERA, like to the people who are coming to the celebration for SERA for the 50 years of us as a research organization?
3 words, did you say?
3 words, top 3 words?
Yeah, I think that the first one would definitely be supportive. It's definitely a supportive community for like all different levels of researchers, participation. I think there's lots of different ways to get involved. Again, no matter what your sort of interest in research or what level you're at, there's lots and lots going on. So if it's supportive, participation, and just learning. I think there's so many opportunities to grow and learn. Not just like about research, about lots of different topics, about different people. There's lots and lots of opportunities to learn and get to know people and network and things as well.
That's great. And the last thing I think we have is like ask you to, as a Estelle Brisard Award winner, what would be your advice to people who's planning to submit to it this year?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice I have is to say I did not expect to win the award, so just do it. You know, I think even if I hadn't won, it was still a really, really valuable thing to do. We're taking a big project and then sort of summarising it down. I've gone back to that document a lot in terms of, it's really useful to have in that's much more summarised, easy to digest sort of size of a document. So I think that's a really useful thing to do anyway. But yeah, it's my top tips are look at the criteria, what they are looking for. I was really lucky, one of my supervisors was a previous winner, and that was his big advice, is really look at what they're asking for. So they ask for lots of detail about your research methods. They're looking for innovative methods. So making sure that you are capturing the detail that the group who are reading it are going to be looking for, and just making sure that you've got plenty of time to edit as well, because it's really difficult when you're taking a big document and bringing it right down to a smaller document, just making sure that all makes sense. So having time to write it, but also a few days just looking at the editing and things as well. Yeah, so that would be my main tips.
Thank you so much, Denise. Thank you for being part of the ECR network and doing this for SERA 50. I look forward to seeing you at some of the events.
That's great. I look forward to seeing you too.